everyone. This is Jessica Martinez, also affiliated with Millennials and Money. I'm also a licensed professional, and we have a wonderful guest here today teaching us about real estate. And we have Andre. I love your last name, by the way. Notice. We're gonna notice him today.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys definitely gotta notice him. But yeah, Andre is a just like Jessica mentioned. Andre is a real estate and a realtor. And he's been in the real estate industry for quite some time. Licensed for over 10 years, 13 years to be more exact. A full-time realtor for what, the past 6 years?
About 6 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
But Andre, if you get a chance to introduce yourself to our audience, but also tell us a little bit about yourself, and more importantly, why. I love the why real estate.
Oh man, that's a great question. I believe anything that you do in life, you got to have a passion for. Everything starts with a vision. Everything starts with knowing your why and knowing what you're here for. And for me personally, I believe that I was put on this earth to encourage, to inspire, to teach, and to motivate. And in real estate, it actually gives me the opportunity to do all those things. And on top of that, I have unlimited earning potential. So in real estate, if I make $3,000 this year, or $30,000 this year, or $300,000 this year, it's all on me. So nobody can put a cap on how much I make or how much I earn. On top of that, I also have a strong passion for helping people achieve their goals, whatever that may be. And in real estate, I can do that as well. And then lastly, freedom. I can, no matter what time I decide to get up, I can wake up when I'm done sleeping. Although I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I have the option to sleep till 12 if I really wanted to. So I have the freedom to do that which I'd like to do. So real estate gives me everything that I want in the package, and I love it.
I like that. I like the way you get up at 5 in the morning. That's business mentality.
Yeah,
right there.
even on the weekends.
That's good. That's good. And I love the part and the way that how you help out the community. You know, how you help out kids. I was looking a little bit on your flyer, how you help out schools. You're actually a coach. I'm surprised. How do you do that? You know, how do you get to manage all those things?
The thing about it is, for me, is I believe that in life, you get what you give. You know,
I like that.
So my motto is I live to give. That's what life is for me. Life in one word is love. And the best way to show love is to give. So I believe that God has given me a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge in a lot of different areas. Who am I to keep it for myself?
Yes.
So I create opportunities, or I'm open to opportunities where I can give back that which I've learned. And since I love sports and I still play sports, why not give my knowledge of basketball to the kids? And not only, basketball is not just a sport, it's something that you can actually use to create the analogy of basketball to life. I learned a lot about life through basketball.
Wow.
So if I can help other people behind me do the same thing, then why not?
I love it. I love it already. This is going to be an incredible show. I can tell.
Yes.
I can tell already. But just let me give you guys, especially our audience, a little bit of background about us, Millions of Money. The one of our main goal, my main purpose, even picking back on what Andre just mentioned, is we want to give back. So we're here to give back to our millennials, our fellow millennials out there. And what we're bringing is life-changing, life-altering financial information and financial education. So we can help you guys be better personally and be able to also achieve your goals, because we all understand that being controlling our finance, or being an ownership or owning or be our own money manager, can really affect and improve every area of our life. We're gonna pause for a little bit just to make sure everybody is ready. Everybody can follow us, and because we're everywhere, really. You guys can definitely reach out to us on by phone at 844-700-4463. Let me say it again: 844-700-4463. We're also available on Facebook.
You can make sure you like and share. Our Facebook page is Millennials with $sign and money, and you can go ahead and like and share, so you can share with all your friends, all your millennial friends, just anyone. Doesn't even have to be millennials. You know, you can always get advice from doesn't matter what age you are. So make sure you like our page, and then we also have our Instagram page, which is Millennials_and_money.
So there's really no way you cannot, find us. If you're out there, you can find us. Like I said, whether it's on phone, whether it is on social media, and our email address is info@millennialsandmoney.com. Again, info@millennialsandmoney.com. So you can comment and share on our live feed currently. And so now going back to one of our main goal for this evening. You were mentioning basketball. I noticed that everybody in Houston is excited. I mean, the Rockets are killing it.
The Rockets are killing
the Rockets
it.
just cannot lose. I don't know what's going on. All my Rockets fans and followers, everybody just buzzing me every day about the Rockets gonna win the championship this year.
Yes.
Okay. I guess
You make sure you yes.
I guess you heard it her first. Jessica she probably already had a ticket for the NBA Finals punch in. But I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, the city is. I mean, after the winning the baseball, the World Series, now they're going for the NBA.
It's exciting. Houston is the place to be. From winning the World Series, now the Rockets are number one in the league.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans have one of the best quarterbacks, even though he just came out of a rookie in the Texans. Real estate is banging, even though we just had one of the biggest storms to ever hit the United States of America after Harvey. Real estate is still banging. We're still here to stay. This is just the place to be. So if you're in Houston, you should be excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you're in Houston, if you're everywhere, really, you should be watching and you should be sharing our live feed on Facebook at Millennials and Money. And so the very first topic we're gonna go over with you guys tonight and with our audience is assets allocation, right? Because as like we mentioned, we're doing our best to bring information to the millennials. And one of the big things, especially when it comes to building your financial house, is you always hear that you have to be diversified, right? You have to diversify your assets. You have to diversify your portfolio. Right? And on our Bible, really our financial Bible, Saving Your Future. And by the way, if you don't have a copy, you need one.
Yes. Make sure you email us at info@millennialsandmoney.com.
Yeah.
So we can get you a copy. Because this is the financial Bible. Trust me.
I mean, the way it's written is just clear. It's straight to the point. There's no big words. But we're gonna go on page 62 of the Saving Your Future book, the Financial 101, and it talks about assets allocation, right? And I love the example. You can see here, it says just assume if you have $10,000, right? I'm sure, especially now with tax return, most of people out there should have close to that amount of money on taxes just by.
Or used to, is it?
Oh, okay, yeah. Or used to. So let's say probably next year when you get that, right? Now, and you're thinking about, of course, investing is always long term. So we're looking at, in this example, 20 years down the road. And it says there's really two options. You can decide to play safe, right, and just put all your money, whether just at the bank or in the CDs or something, like say something safe. Or the second option is to have it spread out, diversified in different slot, different vehicle, getting you different return, right? And as you can see here, if you go on the second page at the top of page 63, show that just by diversify your portfolio, right? Even if, and what I love about this is the first slot one, it says, let's even say you lose 2,000. So we just spread it in 5 slots of 2,000 each, right? If you lose the first 2,000, and then the second 2,000 go into a piggy bank and so on and so forth. But by just diversify your portfolio, right, you can
gain so much more.
Yeah, you can end up being in a better position if you just had all your
savings in one
vehicle. Yeah, exactly. But the reason why we bought the diversification also is because one of the things you can also diversify your assets with is real estate. Right? You just mentioned how real estate is booming now. I know real estate investment as well is booming. Is this something you can even say a little bit about it to our audience, but also show them what's the value of having looking at real estate investment as an investment vehicle?
Well, yeah, sure, definitely. And before I get into that, I'll even break down the difference between assets and liabilities, because to be honest, a lot of people don't know what an asset is. If I was to ask a particular individual, hey, you just bought a house, is that house an asset or liability? I actually did this just a couple of days ago. I asked a classroom I was teaching. I said, hey, you bought a house, is that house an asset or liability? Half the people said asset, the other half said liability. The answer is it depends. If you buy a house and you have a mortgage, and you're
It's
paying that
a
mortgage every
liability.
single month, that house is a liability.
Absolutely.
The second scenario is if you buy that house and you rent it out and somebody else is paying that mortgage and you're getting a monthly residual from that mortgage being paid, then that house then becomes an asset. An asset is something that pays you. A liability is something that you pay. So before I get into the real estate, I just want to make sure that people understand the difference between an asset and a liability.
Oh, couldn't have said it any better. Go ahead.
So with that being said, real estate is probably the most important thing that you can actually invest in my personal opinion, only because there's nothing in this world that you can spend more money on than real estate. There's no bigger commodity that we actually have than real estate. It just takes us to get over the learning curve first. So you can actually invest in real estate by doing things like flipping, but that's going to pay you one time. You can get into wholesaling, that's going to pay you one time. What I suggest is people becoming landlords and maybe even paying for a property management company to handle the property. But you want to make sure that you have rental properties because that's going to pay you a residual income. What we want to have in life, I've heard a rich man say that all wealthy people have multiple streams of income.
Yes,
And I
that
don't
is-
believe there are too many wealthy individuals that don't invest in real estate. They all have some form of real estate. Oftentimes it's rental properties. And with these rental properties, they can be duplexes, they can be multifamily, they can be apartment complexes. It doesn't really matter, but they have mortgages that are being paid for by the tenants. And you want to get to a point where you have residual and passive income. So whether I get out of bed or not the next month,
You
I
still
still
gonna get-
have money coming in. And that's something that's not taught. So I'm doing the best that I can to help people understand the benefit of that.
Hallelujah. No, but honestly, and that's what I wanted to. That's really what I wanted to go into. So when it comes to asset allocation, right? Once you have your assets, you want to spread it out. Real estate is something you want to think about,
Right.
You can. I know a lot of people will think about an investment or cash value insurance. You name it. All of those are great vehicle, but you also want to look at real estate as well as an investment options, right? As
Definitely.
Yes.
asset allocation option as well. So really, so that's kind of what that would be the kind of the first topic. And I also love the way you broke down assets versus liability, because people have to understand that first. Now you can bring up our first article.
Our first
Jessica.
article
Yeah.
is, it's scary because being millennial, a lot of millennials don't think they'll be able to afford a home, and it's maybe because they don't know what they need, or either they're too much stuck in debts that they can't pay off. Student loans especially could be a major problem. So, I mean, you being a millennial as well, what are some of those, problems that you get to see along on your clients?
So, me being a millennial, I do get to come across quite a few other millennials who do have that fear, because that's what it is. It's fear. Well, we have to look at what fear is: false evidence appearing real. So what that means is fear is something that's not really there, but it seems to be. So we claim it as what we think it is. It's really an illusion. Fear comes from the lack of the uncertain, the lack of the unknown. So how do we eliminate that fear? By gaining
Education.
knowledge, education,
Education.
understanding. So that's where real estate agent comes in, because we're going to break down the process to help you understand what needs to be done. So the more that you understand, the more that you know, is the more that you can actually apply and actually eliminate that fear.
Yes.
And even to piggyback on what you said, because in this article, one of the statistics really shows that 7 out of 70%, 7 out of 10 millennials, right, things that it'd be too difficult for them to get a mortgage, right? Some of them, and what's even alarming is some of them feel like about 37%, right? Almost 4 out of 10 millennials feels like the only way they can own a house is either if they inherit that from the family or by share luck, right? So and to piggyback to what you said about the lack of knowledge, the lack of education on even understanding the process, knowing out what it takes, and the more you know, like you mentioned, like you said, the more you know, the more confident you are.
Correct.
Right? And now it's easier for you to push the fear away. Right now you feel like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing, and even it comes back also bring back even to the financial education as well,
Right.
because a lot of
Right.
time one of the reason why people are not where they are financially is
because they don't know how to budget
Exactly.
or you know where to put your money, so where you
Exactly.
can make your money grow.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another problem is a lot of people can't. Well, millennials they can't afford even a down payment. You know, that's scary because if you think about it, a down payment for a house is really not that much. It depends what price you want the house.
Right.
But I mean, you're usually talking about $5,000 to $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
But that can also be another problem because they have so much debt that they can't pay off,
Right.
or it's just that they don't know how to budget. They don't know, especially millennials, they know how to win money and sometimes spend it. You know, they want to go
Yeah.
out, have fun, but they don't see that they need to start taking care of some
Right.
responsibilities at an early age, because if they get older, it's going to start becoming a problem and it's going to become harder for them.
Right. I think to me, it all starts with a mindset, and that mindset is going to shape your belief system and your habits. So once you have a particular mindset, you can then shift your habits and do some different things.
And then you can start accomplishing some goals.
Right, right. So it really just starts from being able to have the mindset to understand how money works, because money is an idea. If you understand how money works, you can accumulate more, and money actually tests you. If you take all the money in the world and distribute it evenly amongst everybody, it would still wind up in the same hands, because the problem that the person that has money or doesn't have money thinks that lack of money is the issue. No, mindset is the issue.
It is. And it's
So-
the lack of knowledge
Right.
as
So
well.
if you don't understand how it works, it will flee from you. So once you understand how money works, you understand that you're not supposed to just work for money. You're supposed to have money work for you.
Yes.
Okay, I feel like I should be sitting there and you should be sitting here. Because and even one way the audience can understand better how money works is we can come to some of our workshop, because we also provide free financial educational workshop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where can they come here if they're here in the Houston area to attend those workshops? What's the address and the time? I know at the TC Jester.
The TC Jester, it's on 340.
2500.
25, I'm sorry, 2500. Why am I thinking 345? 2500 TC Jester at Suite 345. That's why I was thinking 345. Houston, Texas 77007. And it's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 in the morning. And we'll hope to see you there. You know, we're always there to help you learn new things and financial information, because I know it can be complicated. It can be very hard, especially if you're starting from zero. It's going to be very hard for you.
Yeah. And if you're actually in the Golden Triangle, where this is Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange, Salisbury, you name it, we do actually do have a financial center on 2615 Calder Avenue, Suite 410 in Beaumont, and we provide the same financial workshop every Thursday at 6:30. So definitely come, and I actually want to say, the knowledge, like I mentioned, not only the knowledge is free, but the knowledge you get, right? And we go over different topics, what is increased cash flow, debt management, building an emergency fund. Because if you want to have a down payment, really, down payment is your ability to build an emergency fund, right? It's your ability to save with a goal in mind, right? If you know you want to put 20%, right, for example, of down payment on a $200,000 home, that's $40,000 bucks you have to be able to save up. So at least you can have a plan, right? That's already your goal. Now you can put a plan to reach that goal in how many years you want to get ready to buy the house. But you can get the knowledge on how to do it, on which vehicle to utilize to grow your money. So definitely come and learn, because like you mentioned, one of the biggest misconception really when it comes to money is people feel like I heard that Tony Robbins said, if you have a little bit of money, right, and you can't manage it, making more money is not going to help you.
Yes,
right?
because
you can always spend more. Basically, that's basically what you can always spend more money, right?
That's true.
Now, so doesn't matter the income, right? Because one of the things we preach is not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, right? So it doesn't really matter how much you make, but once you have the knowledge and the understanding on what to do with it, how to make sure you can keep it, how to make sure you can grow it, then everything else seems possible, right?
But it's the same reason why I think it's over 80% of the NFL players, the NBA players, or the people that win the lottery wind up broke within 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's because the money wasn't the issue. Mindset was.
Yes,
If they
it
had
was
the
the,
right
like-
mindset, they would keep the money. It's not about earning it. It's about being able to keep it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why we're here for. trying to-
Sustainability. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing because you're teaching the information that's not being taught in our school system.
Yes.
That should be taught in our school system.
Or we're, yes, it should be taught. Or there's a lot of people also that pay thousands of dollars to get this taught,
Yeah.
and we're giving it for free.
Right.
Just because we want to help out the community. We understand that there's always going to be financial problems, especially in a family household, or just where if you want to get to a goal. It just depends on budgeting and learning your concepts on financial information.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to, and I think you kind of went over that, Jessica, is a lot of time millennial feels like because of, she says, yeah, about 20% of them feel like, okay, because of the student loan, because they have student loan there, they can afford to really, they can't even think about owning a house because they feel like, okay, I have the student loan to pay. But really with the proper knowledge, the proper budget, you can do both at the same time, right? You can, like I
Right.
said, you can walk and chew. You should be able to decrease your debt at the same time, put some money away towards that home ownership. But let me ask you this question, Andre, is now when you meet people I'm sure you meet some people who have the same challenges, right? What is usually your recommendation? Is there something you actually recommend to them that they should do because you have people they really want to, right? They want to own the house, but they feel like their current situation doesn't allow them to even plan to own a house. So usually, how do you go about helping? How do you go about helping them change that mindset and so on and so forth?
Well, I think one of the main things I run across is individuals who feel like they're not ready, but the problem is not that they don't feel that they're ready. The problem is they don't know, and they don't know the action step to take to get to that particular point. So I actually spoke to somebody earlier today. So I give this example. If I gave you my address to my house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're at home and you've never been to my house before, but I give you my address, you put it in your GPS. Your GPS is going to pinpoint exactly where I am, correct?
Yes.
What is the next thing your GPS is going to do? After it pinpoints my direction, my location.
Give you a route.
Give you the route.
Before it gives you a route, it has to do what?
Ask you if you wanna.
Not quite.
So before what?
Before it can map out a course as to get to my house, how does it do that?
Well, you have to put in the address.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
after that,
the GPS be able to locate your house.
it has to locate where you are.
Yeah, sure.
Before it can give you a map as to where you're going, you have to know where you are,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
actually even starts there. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So if your goal is to buy a house, that's your goal. That's where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to get to where you're going,
You need
you
to
first need
start.
to know where you are.
There you go.
Most people have a mindset as to where they are, but if you're not a real estate agent, you're not a mortgage lender, how do you know where you are?
Mm-hmm.
You only go based off of what you do know or what you've heard.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is we're not talking to the right individuals to help us understand exactly where you are. So I'd say, hey, speak with a mortgage lender first. They are the ones that's going to approve you for the home loan. Look at your student loans. Look at what you've made. Look at your debt to income. Look at your credit. Look at all these things and determine, hey, either you're ready to be approved right now or you're not. Here's why, and this is what you need to work on.
I like that.
Excellent.
Yes.
And it actually even brings, it really goes hand in hand with one of the first thing we do with family as well. When the first time we meet with them, we actually do a personal financial strategy, which is basically a financial checkup, which helps them figure out where they are financially,
Exactly.
whether it is income to expense ratio, whether it is assets to liability ratio. So know, okay, how much, like you mentioned, how many debt you currently have, how much income you coming in, how much you have saved, and so on and so at least you have a clear understanding of your current situation. Now, once you know where you, like say where you are and you have your goal in mind, the rest is okay. How do I get there, right? So that's the key, and that's, I mean, it goes basically what we do is how you help families understand where they currently are financially, right? Before they even think about, okay, now let's set some goals where you want to be, and how do we navigate those goals to get to our final destination. So that's, I mean, is and it work both ways. Like just like I said, just because the lender will kind of do that with you, want to work with you and figure out, okay, can you be approved for a loan essentially. So that was very. Is there anything else you want to be added? Because I think that's really kind of touch on some of the misconceptions, some of the like I said, the fear, the barriers millennial face, and even everybody in general face when it comes to home ownership.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the fear is not being able to pay your mortgage, your monthly payment. And I think that's the biggest fear. What if I take this big step, but then at the end I can't even pay it? Not my down payment, but my payment.
I hear that all the time, and that fear comes from lack of knowledge. Because if you knew how to earn more money versus than what you just have at your job, that wouldn't be a fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that goes back to diversification of income.
Or it can just be if you learn how to budget yourself.
That as well. That as well.
So it's basically a combination of two, right? Be able to because really be able to be a good steward what you currently have, and be able to create that other source of other streams of income. And
Right.
if you want to know a little bit more about that, you can definitely reach out to us on what email at what
info@millennialsandmoney.com, and you can find us on Instagram, millennials_and_money.
and
then you can find us also on Facebook, Millennials $and money.
So we basically everywhere, right?
Yes.
And we can help you, like I said.
We're millennials. Come on, it's social media. That's our thing, right?
Yeah, that's definitely.
You can also find us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Millennials and Money.
I mean, we're
Yancy,
everywhere.
come on.
We're literally everywhere.
Yes.
So really, if you can't find us, that's you're just not looking. So if we can kind of transition to our second article, kind of talks about, if you want to bring up the second article.
Yes, the second article is how your home is not an investment, and basically this article is talking about how this lady buys a condo, and she bought a condo where it's not so pricey compared to her friends. She didn't go all out on her condo, so she's able to afford the monthly payments, and she's be able to afford. And
also the thing is, the really key there, like you mentioned, is not just when she bought her home, and the article really talks about, like you mentioned, assets versus liability, and looking at the home as either an investment or just a residence. Because her thinking was, as she was purchasing the house, she was thinking about already put that for a rental. So she purchased a condo that was very affordable, and she had needed a little bit of renovation, but she could afford the mortgage. And now she knew, okay, if I do this, now I don't have to, my rent doesn't have to be that high for me to start making income, right? Because sometimes people think about, okay, I can buy this house, we sit there for a few years, then move and put that to rent. But if the price of your mortgage is already so high, now even if you want to rent the same property, your rent has to be even higher, so you can, if you want to generate that extra income besides just paying your mortgage and your utility.
Right.
So that's one of the misconceptions people have when they want to, like you mentioned, they want to have the real estate as another source of income. They want to be able to generate that passive income, but go into the purchase, they don't go into the purchase with that in mind, right? And you put yourself in a situation where even for you to have to generate that income, you have to ask for so much as far as rent. So it's hard for you to even find renter and so on and so on and so forth.
Right.
Have you ever? Is this something that you face or you've come across? And
it's person specific. You'll run across some individuals that that say, hey, I'm qualified for $250,000, but I don't want to go over 200, even though I can spend more. And then you'll find others who
want to go over their budget.
Can I get more? Can I get more? Or why only 250?
And that creates a problem because that's the fear of not being able to afford it, pay it. And
it's an ego thing. We always believe that we're going to be doing more than what we're doing right now, which is a good thing. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what steps am I taking to be able to do more?
But it's
Are
a
you-
smarter decision
It
if
is.
you buy something under your budget and then you
Agreed.
can afford it, and then you can, like you said, make it as an asset
I
where
agree.
you can rent it and make more profit off of it. That's smart. buying.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah, because now you're for the same. So for someone, for example, was approved for a $250,000 mortgage, but only used maybe 150 for the house, and someone went and used the whole $250,000. If both of them go and rent the property at the same price, now you only had your home was just 150. Your margin is not bigger, right, than the other one, because because your mortgage wasn't so high, your monthly mortgage wasn't so high compared to someone who went and purchased a $200,000 house. If you only purchased the house at 150, so now we will go around and trying to put the house for rent if that's what you want to do. Now you have a bigger margin, right? On you
right,
can create a bigger
right.
margin.
It is neighborhood specific, but I will say that it'll be easier to rent out a home that's 150 sales price than it is for 250 because it's going to be a lower range. So yes,
exactly.
Right.
And then the neighborhoods, that has a lot to do with the amount of the houses as well. you know?
definitely. Oh
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
Because I was in one of the articles that actually mentions that a lot of millennials look at the neighborhood they're living in.
And they should.
Yeah, you don't want to you want to make sure you're safe. Then.
Right.
But the other thing too is because when you mention millennial, we all know, like you talk about ego. We all know sometimes we want even the
we
things
want
we
to
cannot
go
afford.
more, than what we can't really.
That's the ego.
Even if you know, okay, this neighbor is not for me, but you know what, I kind of like, I don't want to live there.
But we just have to put that as a goal. We want to get there,
Right.
but we can't get there quite at the moment.
Yeah,
And that's the reason why I mentioned person specific. It just depends on the individual.
yeah. And you have even if that's what you want, you have to think about what are the action steps you need to take to get there, right? Even if
Yes.
that's
Right,
your ultimate
right.
goal, okay, yeah, that might be the goal. You might not be ready for it now, but if you think about, okay, what are the action steps I need to take to make sure that can actually become a reality.
Right, definitely. But the thing about it is, it's important to understand and to remember that for me, my job as an agent, I will not, and I'm not paid to tell you what to do, ever.
Right.
My job as an agent is to give you advice,
Listen.
suggestions, provide expertise, knowledge. That's it. The decision that you make is your decision. Okay, so it's important to remember that I can't tell you what to do. I'm only going to give you advice. What you decide to do with it is completely up to you.
Yes, and I think that plays an important key. Advice, it really depends on the person if they want to take that advice and,
Right.
and do good for themselves, or I'm sorry for your advice. I mean, thank you for your advice, but no, thank you. I'm going to take my route,
Right.
and
it
that's where a
happens.
lot of failures come
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
So that's
But it's
why.
important. It's also important to remember that when you're buying a house and you have an agent representing you, it's a free service to you. You don't pay a dime.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that I had somebody ask me earlier today, actually, how much do I have to pay for nothing? It's free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when free, like really free.
Yeah. Like free 99.
Yeah, but and at that point, I behoove you to be able to take advantage of that free advice, or that person with the expertise that you
Yeah.
bring with your background, with
Right.
the knowledge and so on and so forth, and what you can really offer them. Because like I said, it's not just about the house itself; it's be able to walk them through the process.
The whole process, exactly.
The whole process of getting getting the house. So that's very, very important. But again, that's one thing we wanted to touch on this article. Show the people if you have to think when you get into what it is. You have to make the difference between a private purchase, like something a residency, or be able to make a purchase as far as investment, because those are two different mindset. If I'm not
it is.
mistaken, right? But now, what will you, as far as expertise and advice or recommendation, for someone who's thinking about, because I know you mentioned a few. How do you want them? What will be a starting process if they want to? What would be the main difference between someone actually wants to purchase a home for property, for residency, and
Or investment property?
Investment, yeah.
They're completely different processes. and transactions, it's a lot more easy to get approved for an investment property than it is to get approved for a home to live in. That would be called a home to live in. Is called your residence. It's also called homestead. So if you're buying a property for investment purposes, they may look at your credit, but it's not a huge factor. Oftentimes, they're just looking to see if you have any bankruptcies or judgments or liens against you. Is the main thing that they're going to be looking for.
And compared to purchasing a house,
they're looking
your
for
credit is like number one. Yes,
exactly, huge factor. So it's a lot different process. Also, when you're buying a home loan as your residence or as your homestead, your interest rate between 3, 4, 5, maybe 6%, and over the course of 30 years. When you're getting usually you do it with a hard money loan, you're looking at between 10 to 13% paid back within 3 to 6 months. So it's a completely different process in understanding how the money that you are obtained is to be paid back and how it's obtained as well. But also, when you're buying a home as your homestead, you're looking at properties that are probably going to be on the market on the MLS, being sold by a seller working with an agent, more than likely, hopefully. When you're an investor looking for properties, you may want to look at properties that are called pocket listings. These are homes that are being sold maybe by a seller directly, maybe by a wholesaler that may not be on the market. So it's a completely different process, but if you understand them both, then you can work to your advantage.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, that's a way. Even to me, that's a good enlightenment on what's the difference between the two and how people can, like I said, the mindset of going about one versus the other.
Yeah.
And the next. So what's the next point we want to kind of
the next point was reverse mortgage. I've never heard of this. I had to research it because to me was, what is it? Like, what is reverse mortgage? I've never heard of it. Well, yes, I've never heard of it. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm pretty sure many millennials out there are like, what is reverse mortgage? Can you tell me what reverse? Well, I researched it.
Okay, I have a somewhat of an understanding of what it is. I know what it is. I don't have the complete details because it's not something that I do. A reverse mortgage is not done by a real estate agent. It's done by a lender, and not all lenders offer this service. And millennials should not be worried about this particular process because it's mainly for seniors, people who are, I think, 62 years old or older.
62 years old and older.
And what it is, it actually allows them to be able to take the equity out of their house, saying they've been living in their house for a while, take the equity out of their house, use it as cash or collateral for something that they need. So they can still live in the house, but they can take the equity that's built inside the house.
And I think reverse mortgage really depends on what kind of, because reverse mortgage, you can only really use it for, let's say, if, God forbid, but if I die and I don't have any kids and I don't want to leave my house to anyone, then a reverse mortgage would benefit me the most. But if I have kids and I have a family, I want to leave my house to my kids, then reverse mortgage is not the best option.
Right.
For
So
me.
with reverse mortgages, they do not work for anybody and everybody in every situation. There's only a certain pool of people that it's going to benefit.
Absolutely. And one of the reason why, like you mentioned, Jessica, is because the reverse mortgage, once you pass away, the bank actually owns the house, right?
House.
So
I was also looking up at, even if you go and do nursing home, once you get older, that house it's gone. It belongs to the bank now. So.
Yeah. So this, like I said, it's really something. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up is just for people to be aware, because personally, I've heard, like I said, I didn't know much about it, but I've heard on TV, you listen to radio, advertisements, so on and so forth. So you want to, and again, because I'll go back again, our mission is be bring that information to our fellow millennials, so they know. So next time you hear that, exactly, like I mentioned, probably doesn't concern you at this point if you're still in the process of owning a house, but at least knowing what it is about, what it actually is, and how does a little bit about what it works and how does that affect the people who actually utilize that service. Right. So that's pretty much one of the more of an informational purpose for our fellow millennials to know. Okay, if you hear that or if you listen about it, that might not at this point might not like say concern you. It might not be something you might.
But at
do.
least you're aware.
But at
of
least
it.
you're aware. Yeah. But at least
Right.
you're aware of what it is. Now we kind of went over all type of articles and home buying and some of the pitfall, but really to bring back everything together, there's actually an event tomorrow, 6:30 to 9:30 that you're hosting. Do you mind sharing a little bit with our audience what's the event about? Who are the people that will be you'll be bringing as guest speaker, and what the people can get out of it, maybe the location and basically all the details can go in and kind of share with our audience about that event tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, great. Thanks for that plug. As I stated when I first started this particular interview, I told you that I love to teach and encourage and inspire. So I believe that's why I was here. So because of that, I created a platform that I can actually do all those things, but it not just benefit me doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but benefiting the community. So I actually created a home buying seminar or workshop. I rent out a venue from a friend of mine. And I actually bring in a mortgage lender to explain the home buying approval process. I have my credit consultant, and she's awesome. I've never had one complaint, and I've been working with her for years. She's awesome. I bring myself as a real estate specialist to help people understand the home buying process, and then I even have the event sponsored with food as well. So we hit it from all angles. It's about 3 hours long, and we actually make sure we tackle the whole home buying process from beginning to end. So by the time you walk away, not only do you have the confidence, but you understand specifically what you need to do, what's next, and all your questions are answered. So this event, I host it 3 times a year, 3 times, once a quarter, first, second, and third. I do not do it fourth quarter because I am not about to try to
we don't want to mess with Christmas. Yes.
Yeah. So
Thanksgiving and
right. So first, second, and
family
third.
time.
Right. First, second, and third quarter. So for the first quarter, it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be March 22nd from 6:30 to 9:30 at 3 Hughes Paint Studio in Northwest Houston. And I'm looking forward to it. Just come on out.
And how
free
much
food
does
and
it
everything.
cost?
Not a dime.
What?
Yeah.
Again, free again.
Free knowledge? Wait.
Yeah,
Oh.
free knowledge. So
Oh.
I like
food?
to give. Yeah, and food,
And
right?
food.
And
Yancy,
I heard,
do you like food?
Who
Man,
doesn't?
look.
Right.
I heard Miss Tony Sanders is gonna be there as well.
She's actually the sponsor. So
Okay,
she'll be providing
awesome.
the
So
food.
she's going to be
Yes.
sharing as
Right.
well about the financial platform.
Exactly.
So definitely you must be there. You have to be there. I think that we put the flyer up for everybody to know. But if you can, what's the location again?
3 Hughes Paint Studio. The address is 17702 West Little York, Houston, Texas 77084. Oh, and a quick plug. Anytime that somebody does buy a home with me, I actually host their housewarming party.
What?
So,
That is nice.
Again, I'm paying for the food, the drinks, the invitations, the entertainment. I bring games, dominoes. I bring my PlayStation 4 for the kids if you have any. And if I bring my bones, you're gonna see another. I'm not a real. At that point, I'm no longer a real estate agent.
So
it's a
I
whole
know.
new
At that point,
Andre
at that
comes
point,
to
you're
party.
Andre.
Exactly. So
that point,
you will notice me, but for different reasons if I bring my dominoes.
Okay.
So
It's
a good
so
time.
just so people know, at that point it's no more. It's not business
There it is.
anymore.
There
Okay.
it is.
All right. I
So,
mean, I love it. So why? I mean,
yes.
why not? Just first of all, come to and learn about the whole process. And I was looking at the flyer. I think there's a 12-step process on the home buying. You can learn about all of those steps. And like I mentioned, even Ms. Tony Sano will be there to even help you be ready financially, right, to be able to take on that challenge. Because think about it, I mean, that's 30 years. Right.
Yes.
Of engagement, right? And you can. There's no
This
no
is
divorce,
not like a lease,
right?
like, oh, you know,
And
I'm
there's
done
no,
paying it
there's no
for,
getting out
yeah.
of it, right? So, and she can, and I know Miss Tony can even help you show how you can have a 30-year mortgage, but you don't have to pay over 30 years. You can pay over 20, 25. There's different ways you can set that up so you can get out of it that mortgage as fast as possible. But the great thing is now you can go there and learn. Like you mentioned, by the time you leave that place, you have the knowledge, the confidence, right, of going and everything or the strategy that you need to purchase or your house. But the second part is if you actually utilize his service, which is free, the last time you
Free.
also said, right? Not only he'll find you your dream house, but also he'll
He
be able
would throw
to
you a big and
throw you
nice
a
home
what
warming party.
housewarming party.
I know who I'm gonna call whenever I'm looking for another house.
And then I also bring my SODI camera. I take a lot of pictures and I give those back to you as well.
Yeah.
So it's a really
I
good
mean,
time.
it's full service.
It's a full package. Yes.
It's literally
I
a
mean, what
full
else
package.
can you know? Because there's a lot of people that don't know the process or the steps on buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I start? You know, they have so many questions, but sometimes it's fear. They're scared to ask, or they don't even know who to ask. So I think this is great, you know, and like you said, if you want to receive something, you have to give something. So it's a great way to give back to the community.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then talking about that, talking about finance, we are having a workshop this Sunday at 1 to 3 p.m. We're having at, I'm going to say 51 Katy Freeway, Suite 100, Houston, Texas, 77079. Sorry. And the flyers on there, you can see it. So we will see you this Sunday on workshop number 1. It's increasing cash flow and debt management, which, hey, there's free education on finance, and plus you're getting tomorrow there's going to be the event that you're having on how the process of buying homes. So, you know, we're just giving it out there, and it's free. Both of them are free. So
everything really is really out there for you to win, essentially. So that's really what I believe in. Everything, the information is out there. The expertise is available for you to make 2018 really your year. Whether it is on achieving your goal of owning a house, what is your achieving your goal of getting out of debt. If you come on Sunday, you're definitely gonna have the strategy for you to get out of debt faster. You have the strategy for you to increase your cash flow, and even building that emergency fund. Or if you think about owning a house, be able to build that that deposit, right, for your down payment for your house. So definitely everything is, like I said, everything is there available for you. Is all about you taking the step to come and learn and put it into place, start applying the different knowledge you're gonna get. And like I say again, the workshop is Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. at 1111 Katy Freeway. So that's 51 Katy Freeway on Suite 100, Houston, Texas, 77079. So definitely come and learn, increase cash flow, debt management. This year has to be the year you decide to at least have a strategy to get out of that, right? Because again, it goes back to even what you mentioned with the GPS. We usually the analogy I love to use is if you all have a smartphone, right? Yeah. And you have, what is it, the Google map you use or whatever app you use for GPS, usually when you open the app, nothing happens. Usually it just has a dot with your location, and that's it.
It all
but now, once you put an address, like you mentioned, if I want to know where you live, once you put the address of, if you put 1111 Katy Freeway, right, Suite 100, I have to put the Suite, Katy Freeway, Houston, Texas, automatically the actual GPS starts working. It gives you different routes and so on and so forth. So the point I'm trying to make is you have to have that goal you set first, and then once you have the goal, you can have your plan. You can start. You have different route on how to reach that goal. Right? If you want to own a house, if you want to get out of debt, if you want to build an emergency fund, if that's your goal, come and learn how to put the strategy, whatever strategy at the place. Come and learn the different steps. Like I mentioned, you have lenders, you have credit repair. You have a financial professional there, Tony Sanders. So all the expertise is out there. The information is out there available for us millennials to be successful, to win. So it's just a matter of coming and really taking advantage of it and be able to apply this information. And there's also another event tomorrow from I think it's a partnership between Millennials and Money. If you can pull out the last event, is the hashtag home goals, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name of the event. So it's gonna be tomorrow, home buying basic 101 and access Millennial Money and prime lending. I don't know if it shows the so definitely that's another event. If you want to know more about it, you can definitely reach out to us at
info@millennialsandmoney.com, or you can find us on social media. Facebook, it's Millennials $ and money. or Instagram, millennials _and_underscore money.
And also on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, Millennials and Money.
And definitely this the podcast is going to be, once we're done the recording, is going to be available on our YouTube channel. It's going to be available on our Facebook page for you to, if you missed it, you can definitely see it. If you loved it and you know somebody who like, okay, this guy's always asking me about buying a house, or someone that doesn't know, share the video with them, definitely, so they know the information, so they can really get themselves in a better situation. And this is one of my favorite part of the podcast is
and the best part about those things, they're free.
Yeah,
they're free. What's holding you back? You wanting to know and learn new knowledge about finance, about how to, not even if it doesn't matter, not even if you're buying a home at the moment, but at least you're taking those steps, on what does it take to actually buy a home.
Yeah, knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Not like I said, knowledge. And once you learn something, what I love about knowledge, once you learn something, it can never be taken away from you. Right?
True story.
True story. I'm telling you. But the one of the favorite part, like I mentioned, the favorite part of the show is the Milli bag, because we, and if you have any question, you can put your question on Facebook, or you can send your question to our email at info@millennialsandmoney.com. And we do have a question from Brittany in Florida. So she asks, her question is, she has a degree and I have a degree and a good paying job. I can make an extra $10,000 to $12,000 more from her job if she gets a master's, right? So I want to know if I should just get a nice part-time job and avoid getting into more debt, or get the master's. What makes most sense long term? I know I won't be able to retire comfortably without doing one or the other. So essentially, Andrew, she already has a job now. She has a good paying job, but again, she wants to make a little bit more money. So our option is either she goes back to school, get a master, and by getting a master, she'll be able to make an extra $10,000 to $12,000 a year. Or she can find another job where she can earn a little bit of money. So the question is,
I have the best solution. How about you become your own boss?
Look, I literally do not like talking about. Don't ask me about school. I'm not, because I'm gonna say some things that you may not want to hear.
Okay.
So there are so many ways to make money that do not involve more academic education and more debt for you to accumulate.
Yeah.
I just put up a post today, actually, I believe, that actually said wealthy people have all have multiple streams of income, but 2 jobs are for 2 people. Mm-hmm. So I literally wrote down 10 additional sources of income, and none of them deal with me working for another individual.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have to understand that there are 4 different people that work in this marketplace. You have the employees, the self-employed, the business owners, and the investors. The employees are taxed more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And they work the hardest.
Because they get income.
Yes.
Exactly. So if you want to obtain more income, find out what you're passionate about. Find out what your talents and your skills are. Find out what your purpose is and chase that.
Or even better, you can learn something as well. Learn something that would like you mentioned, learn something that could put, because your dilemma is, if you have to go and add more debt just so you can make a little bit more money down the road.
Not even
with
that,
the compounding effect of the debt you're adding.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, I always tell people, the beauty about this is we all get 24 hours. And trust me, that's all there is. There's not an extra minute or hours I looked for it. I can tell you that's all there is. Now, what you do with that 24 hour makes a difference between where you end up in life, right?
And what you achieve in life, yes.
If you want to add another job, right? Basically, what you're doing is, like you mentioned, 2 jobs for 2 people. You can only do 1 job at a time, number one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you want to do 2 jobs, some of the downfall, and I've seen that just working helping families, working with people out there who work 2-3 jobs. Now you don't have time for anything else, right? That's
Right.
literally, you don't have time. That's literally, I know, if you work 2 jobs, maybe one is 8 hours, another one might be 4 or 5 hours. So you, before you know it, that's 14, 15 hours of your day gone just on going and working for someone. And then you still have to, and if you include everything else you're doing, you're sleeping, there's no more time for anything. And usually those people, you also in a situation where you, usually they eat out more than anybody else.
Yeah, they're more stressed out.
There's a lot more stress.
Definitely.
And even you feel like even the extra income you're making really doesn't go anywhere,
Right.
right? So like you said, it's not to discourage them to not go to school or not be able to understand the value of making extra income, but find a way, find it's another stream of income that, like I said, that doesn't involve
A vehicle,
working with,
yeah.
working
Yes.
with someone, for someone. Find something that you're passionate about that you can do and can actually bring you that extra
Exactly.
income.
Exactly.
Essentially.
That should be the essential goal.
Yeah. And if you need any help, if you don't know what to do, you need option. Again,
you
you
email
can
us
contact us.
at info@millennialsandmoney.com, and we can
We-
definitely show you a
you
way
can
on how
definitely show
you
you.
can,
Absolutely.
you can do
Or
that.
you can contact us directly. Our information is there, or you can reach out when it's on our Facebook page and Instagram. So there's other ways for you to make that additional income without having to create more debt for yourself, because she already has some. She's talking about them. You already have some student loan. You have to go and add some more.
Yeah,
more
because
student
imagine
loan.
just the masters, you already had student loans. Just imagine you're adding more.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make that 10 to 12 more, but when are you really
She's
gonna
not
see
going to make
that?
10 or 12 more because that's going to be taxed too.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, exactly. But I'm saying
On
like,
top of the student loans.
right. When are
Exactly.
you gonna start seeing that extra income? Because right now you just got to pay off your debt.
Yeah.
You're really not gonna see that 10 extra.
Yeah, and the quickest way, I always tell people, if you're trying to get out of the hole, the first thing you have to do is stop digging, right? So if you're trying to get out of debt, the first thing you have to do is stop creating more debt, right? So you
Yes.
can't really create, if you're trying to get out, you can't really create more. And like I said, not really to discourage them from not reaching your dream or making the extra income. I'm always about making extra income, but find other ways to do it that doesn't involve you getting a second or third job.
Clocking in.
Yeah, and so definitely that's what you want to go over. But thank you for your input. But again, before we wrapped up here, this was lovely. Like, this goes way.
Yes.
Can we get an hour and a half next time? 'Cause this is way too short for me. But again, my co-host this evening was Jessica Martinez. How can I reach you out?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at this quote that I really like. It says, 97% of the people who quit too soon are employed by the 3%
Yeah.
who
true
never
story.
gave up.
Yeah.
I love that
I'll
quote.
give you another quote that I actually gave to somebody earlier. It actually says that if you don't build your dreams, somebody will hire you to build theirs.
Yes, I love that one too.
So now, where can they find you at? Where does our audience can reach you out?
Google Andre Notice.
Hey, is that famous?
You could do that, but Instagram you can find me at you will notice me, the letter U, and then will notice me. Facebook is Andre Notice, and pretty soon I'll be having a YouTube channel like you guys. I'm trying to.
Awesome. And you
What about
can
you?
contact me at jessmartinez1993 @yahoo.com, or you can find me on Facebook as Jessica Martinez, or you can find me on Instagram. I mean, I have all types of social media, guys. I'm all over the place, so you can find me.
Awesome. And I'm Yense Bolda, aka Debonair Millionaire. You can find me at hmbolday@gmail.com, or on Facebook at Yense Hervey. And this was episode 6.
It was
Probably episode
great
6. I mean, it was awesome. I guess again, thank you for coming and joining us and really sharing some amazing information with our
Yes.
audience. And I'm sure the event's gonna go extremely well tomorrow. So definitely make sure you attend the event tomorrow at 6:30 and learn about everything. Basically, has to do with home buying, and home ownership. So that's very some beneficial. And again, you can reach us, you can find us, and our next podcast will be 2 weeks from
Yeah.
today, 2 Wednesday from
to
today.
Wednesday. Actually, happy Easter, guys. We won't be able to see y'all, but we make sure you have a great Easter.
Don't eat too much.
Don't eat too much chocolate.
Yeah.
I know I will.
Please
I'm
don't.
joking.
But again, thank you for being here on Facebook and the Millennials. And this was the Millennial and Millions and Money podcast. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye.